It's actually happening as the Red Sox have a legitimate shot at winning the American League East. But how likely is it? The last month of play will have serious playoff implications, and today we talk about all of it right here on Red Sox Digest. Welcome everybody, I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you tuning in to today's show. There is a lot to talk about with this last month of play coming up, and I am telling you what, it is going to be a month that we have not seen like any other since probably 2021. Now, hopefully, we don't have the same crash out that we did in 2021, and we can come out with an American League division title for the first time since 2018. With that being said, though, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of stuff coming down the stretch here, and I want you to be a part of this Red Sox community, along with getting daily coverage of the Boston Red Sox as they head into, hopefully, a postseason play, and hopefully hosting some games at Fenway as well. Let's talk about the American League East here a little bit. There are three teams in contention for the division title. Those three being the Boston Red Sox, the Blue Jays of Toronto, and the New York Yankees. The Orioles and the Rays, funny enough, this was supposed to be a very competitive division. I don't want to say anything besides that, but the Orioles and Rays have just not been it this season. They are down in the dumps. They are at least a double-digit game back, so not going to talk about them in this show. But the Red Sox, the Yankees, are both 2.5 games back from the Toronto Blue Jays of the AL East division lead, when at one point, the Blue Jays had like a 5 or 6 game lead over both of these teams. And if you want to go even further back, the Yankees had a 10 game lead over the Boston Red Sox at one point in this season. Now these two teams are tied 2.5 games back for that division title. We go look at the division standings here, and you can kind of see what exactly has been going on. A few housekeeping things as well as we look at this screen. The Blue Jays are 5-5 in their last 10. We're going to talk about their bullpen a little bit because it has been horrendous over the past, I would say, almost month now. The New York Yankees have a very easy schedule coming up. However, the Boston Red Sox do have the tiebreaker over the New York Yankees. The Blue Jays have the tiebreaker over the Boston Red Sox. I do not know if the Blue Jays or Yankees have the tiebreaker over either or. I couldn't really tell you. The Red Sox, though, as they come in here, 3.5 games up on the wild card spot, tied with the New York Yankees for that number 1 slot. 7-3, just like the Yankees over their last 10, and they have won 2 in a row, obviously that being the Pirates and the Guardians. The Red Sox missed a huge opportunity in losing 2 games to the Pirates when the Blue Jays did not fare well against the best team in baseball in the Milwaukee Brewers. What exactly does the last month of the season look like for all three of these teams is the big question. That's where we first have to look at the strength of schedule. Now, I don't believe strength of schedule means too much. However, I do just want to put it out here. The Toronto Blue Jays have the 8th highest ranked strength of schedule left as they play the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Astros, the Royals, and the Reds. 2 more games to the Reds. That's that series that's going on right now. They also have the Orioles and the Rays, which both of those are in-division opponents, and the Orioles have been playing better baseball of late. They say easiest opponents. If those are their easiest opponents, it's going to be a tough time for them. For the Red Sox, it's not no easy thing either. They've got the Detroit Tigers, which is the best team in the American League, in theory. The Toronto Blue Jays, the New York Yankees, and the Cleveland Guardians, the 2 games that we have left, 1 tonight, 1 tomorrow. The easiest games, they say, we have 6 games against the Athletics. We need to win every single one of those games, or at least go 5-1, 4-2. You cannot go 3-3 in those 6 games against the Athletics. You're going to play 3 in Sacramento, 3 in Boston. The first of the 3 will be in Sacramento, I believe, a week from today, a week from this series against the Guardians. You'll also play against the Arizona Diamondbacks. That is the series coming up after this Cleveland Guardians series. It'll be a 3-game set, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then you'll play the Tampa Bay Rays. That'll be the very end of this season. If we look at the Yankees and their strength of schedule, they're all the way down here at ranking 21st. But again, though, there's a caveat to them. They have 3 against the White Sox, not a good team, but they did lose 1 to them. They have 3 against the Twins, not a good team, however, they do have Joe Ryan. They have 7, though, against the Baltimore Orioles. And yes, when you look at these fan graphs or strength of schedule, or really anything, they believe the Orioles are not a good team. But there's a couple of caveats. They are in the AL East. They're a team that had high projections for this season and had done very well the past 2 years and have kind of fallen down. However, their pitching has gotten a lot better over the past couple months. They've been one of the better teams since June or the All-Star break, so I don't think that they should be listed as an easiest opponent. But besides the point, the Yankees over the next couple games are going to be the big ones, and let's go into the schedules to kind of talk about that. We first look at the Boston Red Sox final month of the regular season. I mentioned here we got 2 more games left against the Guardians, but the Guardians, they're no pushover. Their offense isn't great, but their pitching is pretty decent. You won yesterday 6-4, thanks to a couple of key plays, one by Carlos Narvaez on a pinch hit situation, gets a or a single down the line, scoring 2 runs. Obviously, a pesky pull home run from Trevor Story was nice, and of course, the great play from our bullpen after Brayan Bello didn't exactly have it. Guardians again tonight at 6:45 Eastern and 6:45 tomorrow as well. You get a day off on Thursday before you head to the East Coast, where you will face off against the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Sacramento Athletics, the Athletics, Las Vegas Athletics, what do you want to call them? They're not Oakland anymore, I'll say that. But you have, again, 6 games in a row right there against teams who are 1 below 500, 2 out of the playoff race, 3 are not very good. I would hope for, again, a very good road trip coming up. After that, you have 3 games against the New York Yankees, the last time you will see them this season, at least in the regular season. Then the Athletics at home after a day off on Monday. And then the final series against Tampa Bay Rays. But the 6 games at the end of the season is where it could be a key part. You have 3 games against the Toronto Blue Jays, who currently lead the AL East. Now, a lot can change in this half-month stretch. You also have some games against the Detroit Tigers, also a very good team. Now, there is a little bit to be put out there. If the Detroit Tigers are in a position where they are already clinched their playoff spot, already clinched the highest seed in the AL, there is a chance that last division, maybe they're not playing their top guys. At the same time, the Red Sox can be in a position where maybe they're not playing their top guys. So a lot to talk about with that. If we go look at the Toronto Blue Jays schedule, they have a very tough schedule. I believe this is a lot, it's going to be rough for them, especially with the way their bullpen has been looking. They have 2 more with the Reds, 3 with the Yankees, 3 with the Houston Astros at home, 3 with the Orioles, which again, they're labeling them as a bad team. I don't think that is the right thing. 4 against Tampa Bay Rays. I don't like the Rays. I don't think they're good. I'm fine with that. That's going to be a pretty, for the Blue Jays fans, they're probably excited about that. Then their last little bit of schedule, the Royals, good team, depends on where they are in the playoffs, and the Red Sox, again, in Toronto, and the Tampa Bay Rays in Toronto to finish out their season. Big thing here, though, is the Yankees schedule, because I think us as Red Sox fans, I want the division. I am not going to sit here and say that, but if I had the choice of winning the division, or the Yankees winning the division, or the Blue Jays winning the division, I would rather literally be anybody else than the Yankees. I will take the top wildcard spot and go beat up on New York in the wildcard series if it means that the Blue Jays get the division over the Yankees. That's fine with me. Their next couple series are going to be a huge sign. They have 3 against the Astros starting today. They then go back home and face off against 3 with Toronto. After a day off, they'll have 3 against the Detroit Tigers. Then they'll face 3 against the Boston Red Sox, us, and then after that, that's where their schedule gets a little loose. 3 against the Minnesota Twins, 4 against the Baltimore Orioles, 3 against the Chicago White Sox, and 3 against the Baltimore Orioles. Those White Sox and Orioles series are home. You need to get a little bit of a leg up over these next 14 days, 15 days. Because if you do not have a leg up, there is a very good shot that this schedule, compared to your schedule, it's tough. It's tough. You got the A's and the Rays, that's great, but your last 6 games compared to their last 6 games, it's a very different margin of teams. Very different margin of teams. You need to be able to have a very good division lead at that point. That being said, as of right now, the Blue Jays are in the division lead, and they are not playing very well. Their bullpen is one of the worst bullpens since the All-Star break. In fact, John Morosi here has a little bit of insight. Over the last 30 days, Blue Jays relievers have averaged 5.65 walks per 9, and that is the worst mark in the MLB. He's saying that their bullpen issues are walk-related. And then if you go to Sportsnet, which is the, NESN is our sports network. Sportsnet is the Toronto Blue Jays sports network. Blue Jays ERA since the All-Star break. Their starters have a 3.74 ERA. Pretty decent. Bullpen, 5.72. The Red Sox bullpen, by the way, that's around about a 3 ERA for since the All-Star break. A 1.98 ERA differential is the highest in the MLB during this span. So, as much as I want to sit here and say I am very concerned about the Toronto Blue Jays, I have to say that I'm much more concerned about the New York Yankees. Not because they are a good team. We have kicked the crap out of them every time we have played them. In fact, they've won 2 games against us this entire season. The biggest worry I have is the Yankees do this thing where they beat up on these bad teams. Now, they had to have this record not playing these bad teams, but they beat up on not good teams. And guess who they play over this final month of the season? A lot of not very good teams. I do think the Orioles are a little bit more, they deserve a little bit more credit than they're given, but the Twins are not a good team and the White Sox are not a good team. And that's what the Yankees have done. They've beaten up on the bad teams. The Red Sox, they're like the opposite. They play well against the good teams. They need almost some motivation, which In some ways, that's why I wouldn't mind having the wild card. You get no break. You get to go out there. You get to play, hopefully, in Fenway in a top wild card spot. It's an interesting slot. With that being said, I have the question for you here. I want to start doing kind of questions of the day at the end of the video. Today's is going to be a question of whether would you rather win the division, knowing you're going to have a little bit of a time off, or would you rather have the top wild card spot? Obviously, the division is great, but I've heard some kind of discussions. Obviously, Section 10 guys have talked about it, a bunch of different people. If whether winning the division, it's great. I'm not going to say it's bad, but if you're at the top wildcard spot, you get to play right away, and you're most likely going to be taking on the York Yankees. And if you have the top wildcard spot, you're playing them in Fenway Park as well. So let me know. Win the division, top wildcard spot. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section and why. But that's all we got for you here today on Red Sox Digest. We appreciate you tuning into the show, and we'll see you next time here. Appreciate it. Peace out, guys.